Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the Tuesday topic here on Patreon. Thank you for joining us. It's our pleasure to have you. It's a nice start, wasn't it?
It was a very nice start for me. You're not normally that accommodating unless there's someone you're talking down the camera to.
Well,
I mean, you've just been talking off camera, so maybe that was the person you were talking to on camera. Who knows? Unless you were talking to all of our patrons, which I guess you were.
I was
so
talking to everybody.
There you go.
Because you're
I like that the all-inclusive.
Well, you know, you're isolating people. I don't want to. I'm not an isolator.
I'm not isolating anybody.
Well, I feel like you are.
Well, you can feel like whatever you want to feel like, but you're wrong.
Can you prove it?
No.
Well, there you go then. If you can prove I'm wrong, I'll accept. I'll accept that.
Tuesday topic. Let's get on with it. Who's been in touch?
Matthew Barry.
Hi guys, Matthew from Cardiff. Tuesday topic. Hopefully we'll get planning permission for Bramley Moor before September. But how much of an impact do you think the stadium build will have on the finances of the club going forward and our potential to buy top level players? Cheers.
Cheers, Matt. Bit windy there.
You might just have a Mac, like my Mac, mightn't he? He might have been on his Mac, like mine sounds like it's a friggin' 747. It does. What's the take on?
Sounds like 747's.
What do you reckon it actually is?
I don't know. I mean, it's not.
I mean, this isn't.
It's not one.
This isn't.
It's not one-to-one Apple diagnosis, is
Apple
it?
diagnosis YouTube channel. Yeah.
No, sounds like a good problem. Get Dick Van Dyke to sort out apples.
Apples, yeah.
Diagnosis. Apples.
Put it on at like 140 and
be amazing.
Be amazing. Afternoon view.
Don't get Scott Bio back though.
No, leave Scott where he is. Yeah, leave him in charge of people like Charles was. Charles and Charles, come on, mate. Let's get there.
No. Well, yeah. Of course, it was called. It was recast over with one of the McGanns, wasn't it? I think.
I want Charles in charge of me.
Charles in charge of our days and our nights. See, I've never watched
our lives.
I've never watched that program, but I know the theme tune.
I
think it was played it on Scrubs quite a lot, which is also a great program.
There are other great programs available.
There are on Patreon. Right here.
They are, yeah. Literally.
This isn't one of them.
So this is, yeah. We'll be all right in a minute, I'm sure. When we remember what Matthew asked us.
He asked us about
Bramley.
I mean, because we literally just watched the video. You've just seen it. About Bramley Moor, about the stadium, about money, about will it take away from the playing squad?
Oh, so we asked multiple questions?
No, he asked one question.
Oh, you just deducted that. Well, the first thing he asked was, will it create more money?
Did he?
Yeah, well, I think he did. I've read between the lines.
No, what you did is you just didn't watch the video.
Literally watched it. He looked very smart in his shirt. Literally just watched the video. Will the money take away from the playing squad for the stadium?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is the answer? I don't think so, because I think Farhad said, that it'd be a separate account. That Alice is using.
One's his current account and one's
Alice's
USM account.
Yeah. I should imagine it'll be, to use a word that was used around 1999 with the King's Dock, it'd be ring fenced. Set up a different company, don't they, when they're doing the stadium and stuff. So I understand that money has to be paid from somewhere, but that's what the stadium finance, I think, will be different than the finances.
Building it obviously won't come out of the pocket of the club. It's a separate company, so they will leverage the stadium against the capital, like you would for anything. Essentially, we already know that the money that they wanted to take off the council was going to be paid back yearly over 25 to 30 years, with £7 million a year going to the council, which for a lot of people seemed a really, really good deal for everyone. Clearly against Liverpool fans who obviously clean their own bins. So that proved that that's how it would work. And for me, that's how everyone funds everything. You know, you wouldn't pay. It doesn't actually make any kind of sense to pay for anything up front with cash. You don't have that kind of. No one has that kind of money floating about. You just don't have it. And plus, Fad Mashiri's an accountant who is a billionaire. He become an accountant, a billionaire through being an accountant. He must know.
Who's accountant?
I can't remember. Some Russian fella. You don't get to that place without knowing how finance works and how credit works and how shares and businesses and loopholes and things like that. Well, no, you do. You've got another loopholes, haven't you? There are loopholes that you don't just go out there and spend money. You've got to know how money works. It's like money works night and day, they say, don't they? It works for you. It can work for you. It's why rich people don't just go put money in the account and leave it there. They put it into stocks and shares. They make it work for them. You know, that's how the world works. That's how banks work.
That's where we've been going wrong.
Yeah. It's how banks work. You give banks your money and they use that money to try and make more money. You invest it. It's how the world works. It's why the world's gone backwards in the last 10 years. It's because rich people aren't investing their money. They're just keeping it for themselves. And they're not investing it back into the world. You know, because that's how it's supposed to work. So we'd set up a separate company and we would essentially use whatever income we got from the stadium to go back to pay the debts. So one of the problems with Everton one of the problems for the last 30 years up till a couple of years ago is we got a loan, didn't we, off Bearden's Bank about 25 years ago, and we leveraged it against the stadium. So the club owned the stadium, but if they'd made the stadium separate at the time, they could have leveraged against the stadium, which wouldn't have impacted against the club, which means the club would have been debt free. But because they didn't at the time, it meant that the club saddled that debt for years, and we could never escape. We couldn't escape the interest, never mind
that was
the debt.
What it was. The interest was
crippling. So this will all be separate. From the minute that stadium becomes a reality, it will be a completely separate thing. So at the moment now...
Well, that's been set up anyway, hasn't it?
No, but if you go into... It can't actually start, can it? So if you go into...
It's been created, hasn't it?
But if you go into the debts now, the club have to cover those debts at the moment. So anything in terms of...
site preparation and all that, we've had to pay.
Exactly, so that goes into the debts of the club. But once the stadium gets the go-ahead and becomes legal, then you'd set a separate company up, which they probably already have. Yeah. And all the funding comes from that, and then it doesn't touch the club. So hopefully, theoretically, that continues for the entirety of repaying back the club, the money for the stadium. Yeah. And that way it doesn't hurt. But that's just a legal thing. Will that actually mean that Everton don't have to incur the costs on the field? Well, the realistic answer to that is yes, Everton will have to incur the costs of the stadium. In real terms, they will, won't they?
Well, they will, but they'll have to try and counter it with naming rights and everything else, won't they? And it'll be paid back. I suppose that was what the attraction of the City Council deal would have been. Is that you cover that back within, you know, if someone said, right, I'll give you this loan of, you know, well, you'll pay it back 10 million a year, say, for 25 years or 30 years, then £10 million is nothing, really, because of TV rights. The
beauty of the council deal is still up in the air. Excuse me, it probably won't happen. But the reason why it was so attractive was because the council can get a loan essentially off a central pot of money, which is there through the government to pay for large developments within a city, to help a city. So that could be an arena. So that could be any arena, that could be any stadium. Where the council say, we're building this stadium, we're getting this money from the central pot, which is there for the whole point of helping with a city. The interest rates will be lower because they're coming from the government and not from a bank or a financial institution, whose obviously role it is to to make money from money,
yeah.
whereas the government isn't necessarily there to make money from money. It's there to help people make money themselves. So the interest rate would be low, and that suited Everton. It also suited the city council because they are making that money back. And for some reason, people opposed it because they just didn't have a clue what it was all about.
No.
They, rightly or wrongly, or on purpose, decided that Everton were taking money off the city council. So money that should go to pay for libraries and sure starts and all these things and your bins was actually going to go to Everton in some kind of vanity project for a billionaire owner who, why can't he pay for this himself? Well, doesn't actually work like that, and we were actually going to put money back into the city for 30 odd years.
There's going to be money going in that the council hasn't got, vital money, and bitter, jealous people have robbed. Of course, that much of a fuss that Everton have turned away from it by all accounts. So obviously that funding will have been sorted somewhere else, probably to a very similar deal, because why wouldn't it be? If someone's going, well, actually, if you do this, you get this. Someone over there going, well, I've got loads of money, but you pay triple what you wear. You're not going to go with that, are you? Going to go to this one? So, however they do it, that's how they'll do it. And it'll be an attractive repayment model. We make a lot of money from the Premier League, and we can do that, like you say, with name and right. I think we all have to accept that prices are going to go up when we go to Bramley Moor. You know, all of this affordable ticketing, and it'll be, you know, we're going to try and do the same. It doesn't work.
Well, I mean, you say that, but...
No, it doesn't work, honestly.
You say that, but the ticket prices will likely go up, but then there's how much they go up for. And if you say to a fan, well, your ticket's going to go up by a £5 at a match, and for that you get this new stadium, and you get better facilities all around. I mean, you're not just paying for your seat, you're paying for the facilities that go around the stadium. I think that maybe for, you know, it mightn't be as drastic as what people will lead you to believe, you know, because we see ticket prices for clubs in London and, you know, they're ridiculous. I can't see them being astronomical because I don't think Everton will fill this.
How much is your season ticket?
It's less than 500.
Right, so your season ticket at Bramley Moor will be 650, I reckon. Mine's 550. Mine will be well over 700. Well over.
But I mean, there's a chance that
because
through inflation anyway.
Because literally they have to, because they've got to. For all of the reasons you've just said. They might. I'm not saying they won't. Listen, I'd be absolutely made up if it went up £2 or something. Be absolutely over the moon. But I reckon there'll be £100 on everyone's season ticket.
Well, I think they might be,
and that's not realistically. That's not that bad as long as it doesn't continue to go like that. Do you know what I mean? We'll have more people in, and again, this is the other thing with the stadium capacity. This is why it's important to put as many seats in as you can, because it helps cover those costs. So it.
But wasn't one of the big things saying that, you know, the last 10,000 tickets are the most expensive, because in terms of if you can't sell them and what you've built them for, you put it's an extra strain on the club, and that's the thing they've got to work out. No, of course the ticket prices go up. I'm under no illusion that, and I imagine most people are not under, you know, don't think for 1 minute they won't go, because they'll have to go up. It's like anything else, isn't it? If you buy a new house, you know automatically you're paying for the fact that it's a new house. Everything's brand new, so therefore it will last. You know, it will last longer, and things have been more expensive, and you're paying for those facilities, and it's.
I think the thing to come off, and one of the things Matthew was saying was that, you know, how do we see that generating more money? Well, there'll be more corporate stuff. There won't be. I don't think there'll be ridiculous amounts of corporate thing, because I don't think there's a demand for ridiculous amounts of corporate in this city. Liverpool don't sell all theirs, and it's Liverpool who are at the very top. What you have to do is try and make it attractive to businesses in the city who don't have any allegiance really, or.
I slightly disagree with you there. I think Everton sell out their I mean, small.
It's small, though, that's what I'm saying.
I think the difference is, though, it's location will be a big demand on that, you know, because from experience with Sam, my missus, she's always had to look for facilities within the city to hold conferences and hold certain events. And for a long time, she did always make sure it was Goodison. And now, those facilities are more likely to be Aintree than anywhere else, because one of the reasons is it's actually a neutral venue, but it's also quite an easy place to get to. It's got nice surroundings, and the facilities are top class because Aintree gets used like 3 times a year. It's got to have these extra facilities, so weddings and
bar mitzvahs.
I mean, bar mitzvahs. Everyone. It's a key demographic.
No, it does.
Goodison being a ready-made place, you'd look for like weddings. Of course, we have weddings at Goodison Park, and they're not exactly going to be, you know, it's not going to bring in millions. But you've got to look for those other angles, and having a stadium that's right by a river, and it's a fantastic looking place, and it's got hotels surrounding it, and it's not boxed in by maybe the surrounding area not being so nice and all these things. It looks attractive. You can bring people in and you go, I'll pay a little bit extra for that. So I think they could definitely improve match day, but I think non-match day is really key to that. I think being on the river and only being literally a 5-minute drive from the city centre. You know, whether if you're asking people to come to, say, a conference, not like a big conference, but a smaller sort of conference, and you say we can get the train into Lime Street, let's say if you come from outside the city, and it's a 5-10 minute, in a taxi or whatever, then actually it is quite attractive then.
It is, but still, I'm talking match day in terms of corporate stuff. I'm saying there'll be an increase because there has to be, because we haven't got a lot of corporate stuff at Goodison Park, and they help subsidise the cost of other stuff, but I just don't know whether the demand is there for a huge amount of
again, though, it
depends.
Stuff. It depends how it's tiered. You know, it depends. It depends whether people see corporate as turning up in a suit and having a 3-course meal, and you know, a ticket in an area that, you know, is seen better than everywhere else or whatever. But actually, corporate can be an area in the ground where you might, let's say you pay like £30 more than you would for your own ticket, and you get like a sports bar sort of atmosphere, and you might get a little bit of entertainment, almost sort of like a fan zone within the ground, if that makes any sense. You know, within a corporate area, you pay that little bit extra.
An upgraded fan zone.
Yeah, basically, you pay that little bit extra for. And if you had like something like that in each of the stands or a couple of the stands, if the seat they're actually sitting in isn't actually worth any more than another seat, then you're making money straight off the bat. And I think that's an attractive proposition. And I think the more you have of that within the ground, more you tier it, where you offer the people who want the fine dining experience, you give them that choice, and then you go almost like 5-6 layers down, and you're giving the average match day fan an opportunity to just have something a little bit better than what they're used to for maybe a special occasion. Say it was your birthday or something, and you go, well, I want to be with my wife, and I want to be with my son or whatever, and we want to go somewhere and have something nice to eat, but it's not mega anything, and you're almost going to the match just in a normal routine, just slightly different. I think that's also a market where Everton could make money. I just think at Goodison they just don't have the facility to do that. They have bits and pieces in the park end, don't they, which are slightly more like that. But the seating is, again, it's only a very small area, so it's always sold out.
But I think the other opportunities obviously are naming rights. It's obviously a better ground. You've got more opportunity for advertising and stuff. So that's where those extra bits of money come, which helps with FFP and helps with the other stuff, because obviously it's about generating as much funding as you can, and it's I'd like to see them, I don't know how feasible it is, but to do their own catering in terms of, because then I think if you're in charge of that kind of stuff, you can set your pricing appropriately. But we know that Everton have outsourced.
I think most clubs outsource, though.
No, I know, but because someone looks after that.
But I think most clubs outsource. But I think the difference is with Everton is that it feels like it's like lock, stock, and barrel. Do you know what I mean? It's like so everything is outsourced and everything's already predetermined, and Everton don't have any power over that because of the lack of not resources, so maybe just things like space and
I want us to almost be a bit like what we saw in Germany, which was a little bit more in charge of their own destiny and
options is a key. Options, I think, is a big thing. I think at a stadium, you've got to be able to offer anything what people want. So, like you just said, when we went to Germany, we seen that idea of just having everything that suits. So they have places you could have pizzas and then you'd have something else and some other kind of food and pick and mix and
there was
bars. I mean, seen with Spurs, I think Spurs is definitely the thing. Where you look at Spurs, you see the bar, see that long bar they have where people, beforehand will go in early and all those things that will help generate money. So ultimately, what you want is you need something that is going to help push money into the team, but also pay for itself as well. Bottom line, it pays for itself. And all those things that you stop people doing other things elsewhere. Especially with being a new ground, the area mightn't have all the traditional things that you would associate with a match day. So what you've got to do is generate them. And what I mean by that is the ground would have like a fan zone or something, but then have like an inbuilt pub as well. Have 2 inbuilt pubs. Don't say to everyone, well, you're going to go to that one. Go to this one. You can go to that one. Slightly different. Get into the ground. You can have almost like a situation where you're in the ground, but you're not in the ground. You're in the ground. You're in a pub in the ground, but you haven't gone through to the ground, if that makes sense. So there is that. So it could be open. Maybe.
Well, even like the concourse or something we said before, with booths in and stuff and a big, but there's ways you can do it. But obviously, and ultimately, as fans, all we're really bothered about is how much money we can create to put players on the pitch. And one of Matthew's questions there was, how can the ground help us afford those top draw players that we're talking about? And I suppose, well, that's twofold, isn't it? One is you've got to be near the top of the league to be able to get the top draw players, and secondly is you've got to make enough money to get.
Ask yourself this question: what does Goodison Park do to help us attract or help us sign top draw players? And the answer is very, very little. The revenue that comes through Goodison Park isn't helping us buy players, and it's not helping us with FFP either. We don't generate enough money from it to say
that can offset
it. A new ground can generate money through FFP in so many ways. It can be, naming rights is a big one. We've seen this with Man City.
It's next level, isn't it?
We've seen this with Man City and the investigation on them. For the amount of different revenue streams that you can create to help with FFP is pretty endless when you've got a new stadium, because everything's new and everything's, well, this is this and this is this and this is this and this, and that's the thing. It's a money making machine. It's things like, go to Anfield and look at their shop. Look at their shop and see what they've done with their shop. They've got this huge, sprawling shop. It's huge, and they have events in the shop. And I don't know what, but you have a shop. You've got room then for a cafe and a museum, and it's all those kind of things as well. It's non-match day. Liverpool. If you go to Liverpool on Anfield when it's a non-match day, the ground is still really busy because there's things to do up there that are attracting people. When we went to Dortmund, there was the shop, and the shop had a cafe in, and we sat and had a coffee. And while you're there, you're having, and we're sitting there, and I'm like, well, But you're having your coffee, I'll go and have a look at the shop and might go and buy something. We all did. We went in the museum, there was plenty to look at there. There's all those things that can drag money off you. Liverpool are, I think, very clever in terms of when they bring their kit out as well, because they always seem to bring the kit out before the last game of the season. And that says to me that when it's the last game of the season at home, the people that come the game, who maybe are not from the city, get a chance to hold the shirt, look at the shirt and buy the shirt. Liverpool directly know that they are getting the money for that shirt right then. And you see them all walking around and you can buzz off them all you want, walking around with their carrier bags and all that. Liverpool are certainly not buzzing off them there like that. Thank you very much. You've got the money directly into your tills there. And while they're buying the kit, they're buying something else and they're buying something else because they're in there. That's the overcoming power of their football club. And there's so many things that they can buy. And we'll have a sit down, have a coffee while you're there. Or go and have a look at the museum. They are literally, you are there and they are taking, think about when you go, if you go somewhere like, I don't know, you go to somewhere like Orlando or you go wherever, you don't sit there with you. You're like, you're buying stuff.
You're not even thinking about it.
When you go on holiday, as soon as you get in the airport, you pay £4 or £5 extra for a brekkie and you don't even think about it because you're excited.
You go into Smith's and buy 3 magazines and a bottle of Coke and it's 37 quid.
Exactly.
And you're going, getting on a plane, I'm not even going to read this magazine daily.
But you don't think that though. You go, I'm on my holidays.
I'm on my holiday.
And you want to make that about when you go to match as well. You want to make that match day experience something people get excited by and something go, I'm going to spend my money. We've said it literally since the day we come back from Germany. Stop allowing other people to take money off Everton Football Club. Stop it. And I apologise to all the local businesses at Goodison Park, Bondi and the Winslow and all that, right? But stop it, right? I don't go to the pub, right, before or after the game. Give me a reason then to stay at Goodison Park after the game, to have a couple of lemonades and wait for the traffic to go. Give me a reason. So when we get our new ground, give me a reason to stay at that ground for an hour after the game. Give me a reason.
The thing about it is, it's not going to happen at Goodison, so the likes of Bondi's fine. That's anyway, fine. And they're all, because it's just not going to happen. But it should happen. It still should happen in the Park End. We've said this before. Open a Park End for an hour, but certainly at Bramley Moor. Put the game on.
60.
Bar,
let's just say it's 55,000, right? 55,000 people are not going to stay anyway, right? 55. Half of that are not going to stay. A quarter are not going to stay. A quarter might go on to pubs or go into town or whatever if we're lucky, right? But if a quarter, let's say 12,000 people, that's a big number.
Massive.
Say 12,000 people say, I'm staying here. Let's say a quarter of them, right? So let's say 3,000 people say, I'm staying for an hour. I'm going to let the traffic die down.
Have a couple of pints.
Because it might be the easiest place to get away from. We've seen pictures of like the West Ham and Tottenham and their grounds and how it's terrible to get away. And you're saying to people, what do you want to do? Do you want to wait in a queue for an hour for the tube? Or do you want to stay here for an hour? It's warm, they've got the game on, or whatever, or we'll re-show this game, or whatever, or we'll bring one of the ambassadors out. We'll do something so there's entertainment. We'll do a thing that we've said. You do a pitch-side show, and you put it on all the screens, so people have got some entertainment. While we'll show some highlights. We'll have some chat with some legends about the game. We'll do that. You stay. You have a drink. It doesn't have to be alcoholic. It could be a coffee. I go to the game and I have a coffee. I'd happily wait after the game for half an hour and have a couple of coffees, or if there's 4 of you and you have 3 coffees or 2 coffees and a pint and a Coke for your son or your nephew or whatever. That's money. That's money that's otherwise going out the door. Keep it inside. I keep on saying this. If you can get 3,000 people to stay in a stadium for an hour after the ground, come on, you're making it. You do that 19 times a season. You're making money.
You're making money, and then all that's going back into the kitty, and that's offsetting FFP, and that's when you can go and spend it on these players.
Or after the game, give me a reason to go in the shop. Give me a reason after the game to go in a shop, right? For an hour after the game, it's 10% on all training gear, or 10% off on all training for an hour after it, or whatever. And you know what? You can come in, and we've also got a cafe in the shop. So come in, have a little look around, sit down if you want, chill out, have a coffee in the shop as well. We've got a big video wall there. There's PlayStations and Xboxes over there for the kids to have a play on FIFA after the game as well. So they're sorted as well. You can have a coffee and you can chill out because you've been in the match. You don't want to just jump in your car and get off. You want to stick around because the traffic's going to die down or the trains or whatever. And you're just saying to someone, I will take a couple of quid off you. That's fine. You're sitting there and going, it's 10% off training gear. I've wanted that top, 10% off. And then without even knowing it, the other 10% you're spending anyway on stuff in the shop anyway. Because you do. Anytime you walk into a shop and someone offers you a discount, you always buy more. Otherwise, they wouldn't offer you a discount. Because you go, oh, I'll have that. Oh, I'll have that as well. And the money that you saved on one thing, you've just spent on another. And you don't mind because you were going to spend that money anyway. So you might as well get two things rather than the one. And that's for me, that's all it takes. And I know that might be a very simplistic view, but for me, a football club should be trying to get you in, get you to spend your money that you want to spend. The amount of times I've been up to Goodison Park and I've got money to spend and I go up there and I'm like, there's nothing I like, there's nothing I want. Money stays in my pocket.
Well, it is, and it's all of those things, and that's how you do eventually build up to be able to get top level players, which is what Matthew's asking about. There's no easy rule and go, this is how we will do it, but we'll do it because the ground creates more money, and it creates an offset to FFP, which is key to everything. Like you said, Goodison creates nothing, so we can't do anything with it. We can't say, oh, that Goodison makes us that, so that's why we can pay high wages for him. Because it doesn't, whereas a brand new ground does. And that's the key to it, and that's why it is massively important, and that's going to help us. We'll have to be good as well to get, because it doesn't matter if you've got a big pot of money, it doesn't mean Leo Messi's going to want to come to you because you've got loads of money. You've got to actually look like you're doing something as well. But if Everton do kind of get it right and they're moving in that right direction and the ground comes along, that can kickstart you to another level. Look at Tottenham now, everyone's talking about Spurs now. This new team, this thing, the big ground. They were still at White Hart Lane, everyone just be like, yeah, good side then. But, they can't go any further. The perception of Spurs has changed. Man City changed with the Etihad and once the money come in and, the same with other clubs. The way Liverpool have had to redo theirs. Everyone's doing it so that they can say, look, this covers this.
Look at this year's top four, right? So the Etihad, Man City has allowed, I mean, you look at that as they've made it their own and they've added to it, they've built onto it, they've changed things around to get the pricing different. The place itself looks, since it's become sort of Man City's, they've stamped their identity on it, and now they've got a big massive video wall as well outside where fans watch the Brighton game, which adds to things. They've got the campus. So they've got a couple of mini stadiums as well, which I just think is absolutely amazing. You look at Anfield. Well, Anfield essentially is a new ground in terms that they've had 4 new stands in the last 25 years, and they still want to. Annie Road is essentially a temporary stand in many ways. They built it because they knew they had to, but they've got long-term plans for that to be big as well. When they can, because obviously it's really only a small stand, but there's a road backs onto a road and there's talk of problems with the light and all that. So they want to long term be able to almost probably buy Anfield Road and close it off or put a tunnel, make the road a tunnel or something or whatever. Maybe when technology is there, they'll catch up. The Kop is obviously, the Kop used to have a McDonald's, didn't he? Which says everything about them. But Subway, and now they've got Subways, they've got their new giant stand, and since they got that, they seem to have really kicked on and off the pitch. It's given them the ability to, again, it's like a status thing. So you got that, you got Tottenham, who obviously have got a new brand new stadium, which seems to be absolutely top of the line, probably the best stadium in the country now by the looks of it. The facilities it offers, the fact that it's got the safe standing sort of thing, it's got a massive home end, it's got everything going for it. And you've got Chelsea, even though their ground has been completely renovated over the last 20, 25 years, they're looking to move. And unfortunately, their big problem is because of the price of land in West London, they're struggling to find a location. They've had to pull back on that mad sort of idea they had. It's been put on hold. So they're struggling because land is so expensive and they'll be waiting for the right time. So everyone in the top four is either developed or is trying to develop.
Well, Arsenal's a new stadium.
Arsenal's a new stadium.
And Man United may as well be a new
Man
stadium.
United, they're always trying to, and again, they're a club, they're like Liverpool, they've got their main stand now, which has been there for donkey's years, but there's a train line next to it, and they're almost waiting for the technology so they can build the stand over the rail, because it's overhead railway lines. That makes it difficult, live electricity. So, but they're trying to wait for the technology so they can build over that, because at some point, they want to make that an amazing stand as well to match everywhere else. So, they're trying to improve theirs. Wolves have tried to improve theirs. Leicester's is a new stadium. Everyone who's fighting to try and get into the top 6, top 4, they've all got brand new facilities because they know how important it is, how it generates money, not takes money away from the team, generates money for the team. That's what they've all caught on to. Revenue streams means you can circumnavigate FFP essentially.
And get better players, bigger players, and no one asks you questions because you can show where it comes from, the money, and that's what it is. So that's the other side to having this. The one side of it, we've got a new stadium and look at the way the club's moving forward, and it's great. But the actual reality of it is it opens up your revenue streams in many different ways, and that's how you end up with better players.
That's before we've even started talking about monster trucks and.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean, it's going to be
monster trucks would make us our money back. That's it. Very easy. It's just whether we'd have an entrance to get the monster trucks into the stadium. But if we did, we'd be, because you can't get monster trucks into Anfield.
No.
You can get Bon Jovi, but you can't get monster trucks. And the question is, which one do you want more, monster trucks or Bon Jovi? I know where my hat is in the ring.
I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going Paul Young on me. No, listen. Give me a monster truck over Bon Jovi any day of the week.
Oh, like literally over them?
Drive it over him, see if he's living on a prayer.
He probably would be at that point.
There you go.
There you have it. There you go.
That's it.
Smashed it. As always.
I think. If we haven't, Matthew, apologies. Yeah.
Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Are you worried that a new stadium could decimate the team's financial resources? Or do you just want monster trucks? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.